Good morning, everyone. Thanks very much for the opportunity to present our work at Synergia SEMA conference. My name is Gianluca Pusceddu and I am a second year PhD student in Business and Economics at the University of Cagliari. The study that I'll present you today is the intersection between SMEs business strategies and unexpected events phases, a systematic literature review, written in collaboration with Dr. Ludovica and Professor Francesca Cabiddu. Crisis is a significant academic research area since the 1960s. The term crisis management refers to a systematic process for identifying crisis signals, avoiding and planning for potential distress, and recovering and learning from a crisis. In this scenario, scholars have established two critical conceptualizations of crisis: crisis as an event and crisis as process. On the one hand, the crisis as an event viewpoint reflects mainly on the aftermath of a crisis. On the other hand, the crisis as process view reflects on the need to investigate crisis fostering situations and organizational weakening processes. The emphasis assigned to unpredictable events shifts with time, indicating that even events classified as unexpected may have been predicted. The attention to crisis gradually increased, becoming an essential element of public and academic discourse. A significant recent challenge that has hit all organizations is the COVID-19 pandemic. For SMEs, the COVID-19 issue is more complex. SMEs are, in fact, dealing with a lack of funding to enforce social distancing policies and legislation to operate and reopen. Despite the importance of crisis management for SMEs, recent research focuses mostly on multinational corporations, with smaller companies receiving less consideration. As a consequence, how SMEs adapt their corporate strategies in the face of unforeseen events is a fascinating and understudied research subject in business, economics, and management studies that requires a solid theoretical foundation. In this direction, this conceptual paper aims to develop a framework examining the strategies implemented by SMEs throughout the different stages of unexpected events. Answering the following research question: what are the business strategies adopted by SMEs during the different stages of unexpected events? We performed a systematic literature review about crises in SMEs, synthesizing how SMEs react in crisis times across the phases of crisis prevention, response, and recovery. The process took place in 4 steps. We started looking for articles with selected keywords, leveraging WOS and Scopus. We read the titles and abstracts, eliminating the non-relevant articles. We excluded the papers that did not investigate business strategy changes in SMEs due to unexpected challenges, those papers that did not have crisis management at their core, and the grey literature. Finally, hand searching and citation tracking made it possible to obtain the very final sample of 53 papers. Following the crisis and event perspective, we organized our findings in 3 main phases. These phases are crisis prevention, response, and recovery. This study develops a circular event framework and illustrates the leading business strategies implemented by SMEs in the different moments of unpredictable circumstances. The first phase, crisis prevention, aims at investigating strategies adopted by SMEs to prevent the unwanted crisis outcomes. According to previous literature, SMEs should stay focused on flexible planning to be resilient against potential destructive crisis effects. SMEs focus on building a robust business to deal with crisis. Various studies indicate that SMEs have to be flexible and have plans to avoid unfavorable disaster consequences and adapt quickly to the evolving environments. To promote resilience, SMEs cultivate a robust organizational structure and a crisis-ready culture. In doing this, SMEs develop proactive, long-term strategic and resilience planning activities, setting up crisis management plans, and investing in equipment infrastructures. Furthermore, purchasing insurance becomes a top concern for small companies to shield the enterprise from financial risks. Financial resources equipment to mitigate the unexpected risks. SMEs ensure they have adequate resources in their business to safeguard business management and supply chain. When it comes to SMEs, it is essential to boost liquidity to navigate through volatile and unpredictable periods of time. This ensures that SMEs have enough capital before and after unforeseen events. Minimizing risky projects and accumulating slack helps to protect from adversity and, as a result, it favors the pursuit of long-term strategic advantage. Proactiveness to promote and anticipate changes in demand. SMEs look for opportunities to gain competitiveness from. They pull energy to become more customer-centered and forge a strong client base. SMEs consider demand shifts and the patterns that they should predict strategically. As a result, SMEs can need to find radical new pivots to reposition their product and service offerings. Collaboration to create a sharing and open environment. SMEs in this sense, they find outside help through deep complementary alliances building and they create an open business environment. This strategy, which involves everybody within the organization, maintains both-side information exchange and offers immediate impact experience in the areas where SMEs lack the necessary coping skills. In SMEs, establishing creative partnerships boosts creativity, flexibility, and efficiency. The response phase is crucial to researchers because decisions made during this period will help reduce the crisis disruptive effects. SMEs continue to be open to adapt in order to overcome small business obstacles and adversity. They try to upskill themselves and reinvent their business approach. In this phase, a strong focus is given to cost minimization strategies and cash flow protection. Earnings are placed at risk during this phase, and SMEs have a deep understanding of their financials. They reflect on which unnecessary spending to pause or cutting back to protect cash flow, cover potential absences, and generate liquidity. A great place to look is given to people, to employees with wages and emoluments. These costs have a direct impact on the balance sheets of small businesses. In periods of confusion, they are often reduced or cut down. During times of adversity, small businesses rely on their fundamental values, allocating financial capital to their most valuable assets. Their most accessible funding is given by cash reserves and the availability of government grants. Revenue generation strategies. When SMEs leaders commit to better leveraging their financial resources, re-evaluating or shifting their existing business model and value proposition is critical. SMEs innovate to stay top of mind for their existing customers, stimulating demand and renewing supply. Investing in consumers helps to create long-term loyalty and create trust. Once the newly adapted products and services are created, internationalization strategies will make the brand known outside national borders. Finally, budgeting funds for external marketing communication channels ensures on-brand messaging and brand identity. Stakeholders relationship. SMEs mobilize practical resources, strengthening or building their relationship with the stakeholders and asking for support. SMEs need to be unashamed in seeking help and accept the need for collaboration. Bilateral expertise, skills, and resource sharing are great fashions to find new strategies and seize business opportunities. Dynamic approaches in small business management. SMEs use learning orientation, ambidexterity, casual, and effectual decision-making logic to ensure minimal disruption overall, and encourage business to strive for constant enhancement. The third step is concerned with SMEs coping tactics in the recovery phase of unexpected challenges. During the post-crisis stage, SMEs step back to all the measures they wish they have taken before the unexpected event, making changes to the organizational process and putting in place preventive action plans for the future. Elaborating upon previous studies, the areas on which SMEs should stay focused on during this crisis containment process can be broken down into business model reconfiguring and re-establishing stakeholder and employee relationships. But let's talk first about business model reconfiguring. In this sense, SMEs accept risks and design new business models. Unlike the theoretical contributions of the crisis prevention and response phases, which show the importance of reducing hazardous programs, recovery studies take a different path. At this level, the literature points to a common trend among SMEs in spotting opportunities to do things differently and becoming more open about promoting a risk-taking culture. Scholars have shown how SMEs revisit their insurance policies, diversify their product service offering, develop new business models, and pivot to guide the organization to the other side of their current trouble. Re-establishing stakeholder and employee relationships. Designing new business models and adapt them to changing situations involves re-establishing stakeholder and employee relationships and rely on their support. Hiring a capable staff and retain old employees is then vital to bounce back again. According to previous studies on the crisis prevention process, preparing for unexpected circumstances is key. By extending prior literature, we generate new insights into the link between the prevention phase and strategic behaviors. We define four key tactics for SMEs to improve their capacity to alleviate and avoid unfavorable crisis results in the crisis prevention process. We say that the adoption of strategies as flexible planning, financial resources acumen, proactiveness, and collaboration during the crisis prevention stage increase SMEs' ability to mitigate the unwanted crisis outcomes. Previous research has identified the crisis response process as crucial because decisions made during this period will help to mitigate the crisis' destructive consequences. We propose that, in the crisis response phase, other four distinct techniques that improve SMEs' ability to navigate unpredicted threats and combat adversity are the adoption of strategies as cost minimization and cash flow protection, revenue generation, stakeholders relationship, and dynamic approaches. While analyzing the post-crisis stage, prior researchers argue about learning in terms of turning business behaviors through creative activities to return to business as usual. By extending previous studies, we advance that, during the recovery phase, SMEs that concentrate on business model reconfiguring and stakeholder and employee relationships reestablishment foster their recovery from unexpected challenges and the likelihood of breakthrough results. Previous research on SMEs crisis has been fragmented, based on particular moments or consequences relevant to dealing with such as an unpredictable situation. While previous research has viewed crisis management strategies as more linear than circular, focusing on the occurrence of the disaster rather than the intersection and the impact of each step on the next, this paper contributes to the existing literature by highlighting the circularity of the crisis prevention, response, and recovery phases. Since all strategic responses are based on previous experience, the same experience can be used to lead to several strategic responses during the crisis' various phases. Also, each of the strategic responses may affect one another. This research provides useful managerial insights into effective SMEs crisis management techniques by recommending the best approach based on various uncertainty sequences. Since a crisis is a dynamic situation, managers should be ready to adapt and execute cutting-edge solutions to increase SMEs efficiency and ensure business stability in highly turbulent business landscapes. Our analysis suffers also from certain common SLR flaws, such as omitted relevant studies that could have influenced the research's creativity and innovation. Given the study's conceptual nature, future research could extend this research field through empirical works to examine what happens in a specific sector or setting when companies need to change their business strategies at a given point during a crisis. Moreover, they could deepen the impact of the identified strategies across the different moments of a crisis on SMEs' competitive performance. Thank you for your attention.